Good morning and welcome to Better Thyself segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Have you ever wondered the truth and the veracity of the old sayings, early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise? Have you ever wondered why successful entrepreneurs, successful leaders, all in fact, at least majority of them, have a common trait? They are not owls, they are larks. And lark is a bird which goes up in the sky early morning when the owls keep awake in the late hours of the night. When you are working anywhere as a senior executive, as a CEO, as a businessman, as a leader, there are not many enough hours in the day. 24 hours shrink to 12 or 16 hours at most. So, tapping in the power of the morning, a time of the day when there are no demands, or rather less demands, is a key and a great key to increasing your productivity. If you get up even 1 hour earlier than usual, you are adding 7 hours a week. That's a full working day. And as I wrote yesterday, 5 hours a day of working is sufficient. But then you are in certain positions where you work actually for 5 hours, but you are thinking, ruminating, planning for most of the time. I was talking of the leaders. Jawaharlal Nehru used to sleep for hardly 3 hours. Starbucks president Mike Michel Gas sets an alarm at 4:30 a.m. to go running. Ruben, popular author of Happiness Project, wakes up at 6 a.m. and works for an hour before her family rises. Laura Vanderkam highlights that the morning specials. So, and then Kennedy, Kissinger. I had meetings with Kissinger. Manmohan Singh. I had a meeting with Manmohan Singh last time when I went to Delhi. At 3 in the morning, he was still the Prime Minister. Why is it that the larks are always more successful? Because you get less distracted in the morning. As the day passes, the distractions increase. The family, the children, the spouses, the colleagues, the friends, and just hangers on who have nothing else to do but to say, "Hi, how are you?" Not that that's important, the social intercourse, but that takes away your time, and one distraction of 10 minutes is actually 25 minutes. Because after the person has gone and talked to you for 10 minutes, the link is broken and it takes you quite some time. An entrepreneur's day fills up if you wait until the afternoon or the evening to work. And there are going to be reasons why you can't tackle a personal priority work at 4 p.m. You can do your personal priority work at 4 a.m. Nobody's going to distract you. But 4 p.m., there's no way. You have more willpower in the morning. The early riser you are, and I rise at about 3 in the morning every day, go to bed at about 1 o'clock. And even if you are not a morning person, you have more willpower. As it's like a muscle, I was reading the book, Ventricles, and she writes that willpower is like a muscle that becomes fatigued with overuse. So during the course of the day, you're dealing with difficult people, making decisions, battling traffic. You use your willpower. You are depleted towards the end of the day. In the morning, wow, it's back in full force. Morning give you an opportunity to set the tone for the day, where you want to be optimistic or you want to be pessimistic. And I personally find during the last I think I was 16 when I took a vow that I will not sleep for more than 3.5 hours. Then it became 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but then never less than that. And I found that I was adding 4, 5 hours per day to my job, to my day. And I could study more, I could read more, I could be well prepared. And the day I would gallivant around in my college at the university days, and people would think I'm not doing anything. They hardly knew that what they can do in the whole day I was doing early morning before even coming to the university. So waking up at sunrise makes you cringe. But the point is, most of the people have a problem. They cannot get up in the morning. It needs a certain discipline, certain attitude. As I said, it gives you more willpower. It saves you time. You are more energetic. You are more able to concentrate. You are less likely to be distracted. So all that makes a strong case for being an early riser, for being a lark, and not being an owl. So how to do it? A, keep a time journal. People keep journals of what they do. I say keep a time journal. And it's a small thing. Time journal, if you keep for a week, you will see whether you are using your time efficiently or not. And many self professed night owls, when they look at the time journals, they have seen that they were not as productive in the night as they were in the morning. I do all my writing in the morning. Reading I do in the afternoons, in the evenings, but 90% of the writing I do in the morning. So imagine your perfect morning after keeping a time journal. Then imagine, put yourself in a state of contemplation. Imagine what you would do if you had an extra hour a day. Would you exercise? Would you read the newspaper rather than just looking at the headlines? As a matter of fact, most of the young people, especially, think that getting up of the bed is punishing yourself. And to ensure that you are not punishing yourself, set a task that you have to do. If you have a good reason to do it, you will come out of the bed. And once you are out of the bed, wow, the day is yours. Then plan your morning. Once you have decided to give yourself extra time, plan how to execute it. And set as much as possible work the night before. See, the people who are athletic bent of mind, they want to exercise in the morning, lay out your clothes in the night before and gather the ingredients for your breakfast. I make a list of what I'm going to write on. In the night, I'm thinking when I'm sleeping. And in the morning, I come up, sit on my laptop and type it out, tuck, 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 tuck. And in a couple of hours, I'm able to finish my job, or 3 hours at the most. And then there's no rush. Build the habit of getting up slowly. You're less likely to hit the snooze button. But all of a sudden, you say, tomorrow morning I'm going to get up at 2 o'clock. You might get up one day, but then third day you would say, what? Rot, I'm not going to do it. So you'll go to your alarm clock, press the snooze button. Okay, let me have 5 minutes more. And that 5 minutes might become 2 hours. So build this habit slowly. Don't try to change your habit drastically. Instead of setting your alarm for 5 a.m., start with, say, 6 a.m. If you get up at 5 and want to get up at 4, start at 5:45, then 5:30. Like that, slowly and steadily. Keep on increasing the day. And to make sure that you don't lose sleep, go to the bed 10 minutes early every day. So if you have a trouble hitting back on the sack of time, you are probably familiar with the old saying, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. After all, if you are healthy, if you are wise, you'll be healthy and you'll be wealthy. That's given. So the first thing is we have to be wise, and wise you would be if you are a lark, not an owl. How can an owl be intelligent? Though they say as wise as an owl, that doesn't help. And then there's a science to back up. Getting up early, this is a process. 4 steps I've told you how to get up early. Now let's look at the benefits. A study was conducted in 2014 of the people who go to bed later at night. And they were seen to see that people who get up late are having negative feelings. They cannot have positive feelings because the early morning sun gives you a certain hope. When you look out of the window and you see the sun shining, your mood uplifts. When you see the beautiful clouds slowly changing the colors, the stars shining, it is an experience of a lifetime. There's a comment by Singh Jaspal. The good old saying, early to bed and early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise is valid all through your life. Absolutely, you are right. This is a saying. Normally, old sayings have not much of meaning, but this is very pertinent and it's valid right from the day one till the end of your life. You may not need to be more wealthy, but then you need health. You may not need health, but then you need wisdom. You have to pass on the wisdom to the children. So this is valid for the whole life, absolutely. So coming back, while sleeping disruption leads to pessimistic thought, but a good night's rest, and good night rest doesn't mean 10 hours, because the real rest is hardly about 45 to 1 hour. That's real sound sleep. Rest of the time, you are tossing, turning, dreaming. So, sleep disruption will make you pessimistic. So, don't disrupt sleep. When I say get up early, I say go to bed early as well, as saying is, and as Mr. Singh Jaspal has said. That saying is useful. You have your sound sleep because sleep is important. It's up to your body to adjust the level of sleep. As I told you, people slept for 2.5 hours to 3 hours. I sleep for that much time. But you need 5 hours, that's okay. 6 hours is fine. But if you want to get up at 4 o'clock, then sleep 6 hours before that. So develop a pattern that allows you to sleep for the time you want each night. And that will help you battle negativity that's thrown on your way. Then enhances your chances of success. Now, this is something which seems like a paradox. You think, how is it going to help? That you get up early and you are more successful. I was reading the Bali professor of the University of Edinburgh, Education in Heidelberg, Christopher Rendler. He said that when it comes to business success, morning people hold an important part. And they tend to get better grades in the school, it gets them into better colleges, then better job opportunities. And morning people anticipate problems and try to minimize them. They are proactive. The later you rise, the more reactive you'll be. The earlier you rise, the more proactive you'll be. And there have been at least 10 studies which have linked proactivity with better job performance, more success in life, and higher wages. I don't deny that evening people do have some advantages, but they might be smarter, they might be more creative, they might have a better sense of humor. But once they change your attitude, they'll see that their creativity, their sense of humor would increase. Getting up early would not decrease it. Definitely at the same time, I'm again repeating, have a sound sleep. It will improve your concentration. It would improve your memory and solve complex problems. And then another thing which I've seen is morning people are more persistent, more agreeable, conscientious, and proactive. They're very persistent. They don't They have time at their hands, so they can afford to be persistent. And persistence is something most important, and they're conscientious. You see, when you get up in the morning, it's so peaceful and so calm that your conscience automatically activates itself. So, getting enough rest keeps you energized, but getting up early gives you time to squeeze in workforce before you get distracted. And that concentration of work in the morning is really important. As a matter of fact, if you look at the religious aspects as well, most of the religions always say get up early in the morning and pray, meditate, because that's a time. And then it reduces success and makes you happier. As a matter of fact, getting up in the morning and communicating with nature, even if you don't work, just communicate with nature, you would feel de-stressed, you will feel happy. Say you wake up at 6 o'clock and you have to be in the office at 8 o'clock. It gives you just 2 hours to get early. In the time you have got to catch up with the email, with the work on your pet project. So it's rushed. It becomes stressful. You are up at 4 or 5. You have got 2 hours more. So it's less stressful. And once you're less stressful, your cortisol level would be maintained. The first hour in the morning, this is what I've observed, sets the tone for the rest of the day. And this was my own experience, and then I found it was cross-checked by Professor Hooper at Roehampton University in London. He found that the morning people tend to be happier as they have lower body mass index. Then another thing is important. When you're an early riser, you don't procrastinate. You don't put off because you've got time on your hand. When do you put off? A, when you are rushed for the work. B, when you are stressed. C, when you are not able to concentrate. But in the morning you are able to concentrate. So you do not procrastinate. You do the job. Okay, let me finish it off. And that makes you a better performer. You are not waiting until the last time. So, end result would be, if you really want to be healthy, wealthy, and wise, follow the golden rule. But as I say, be a lark, not an owl. But if you can be an owl and a lark at the same time, that needs a lot of discipline. I started sleeping less at the age of 16 or 17, and it happened by an accident. My principal gave me a book to read, La Miserables by Victor Hugo, a huge novel. And he said I must read it that night and he'll discuss with me next morning. So I do read it. And by the time I finished it was about 2:30 in the morning. So I went to bed. And then when I was going to bed, I said I must get up in the next 1 hour because I must refresh myself. I hardly slept for 1.5 hours. And when I got out, it was about 5 a.m. Fine. I had my bath, went to the college. And then I thought, if I can be awake one night, why not try it? So I started, instead of going to bed early or late, I started going at 11 o'clock, 11:30, 12. But I ensured that I always get up at. And then when I was in service as advisor to the people, we were in different time zones. USA, when it was night in India, it was daytime in USA. It was afternoon in Europe. So you have got to have a red telephone in you by your side, and anytime you can be disturbed. So it became a matter of habit. But it's very rare for the people to be both an owl and a lark. But the ideal is don't be an owl, have a sound sleep of 6, 7 hours, but be a lark definitely. And you realize the powers of the morning to make you less stressful, to make you more creative, to make you not only successful, but outstandingly successful. And that's what you want to be, don't you? Try it and you will be happy. Thank you.